Well, good afternoon to you and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon, live on Fox Local, fox35orlando.com, and on YouTube. It is 4 o'clock, and that means it's time for today's Top 4 at 4, where we break down 4 of the big stories we're keeping an eye on in the Fox 35 newsroom this afternoon. And joining me for today's Top 4 at 4 is Fox 35 News anchor LuAnne Sorrell. And LuAnne, good to see you.
Good to be here.
So we are starting today with President Trump, a national story here. President Trump going to Capitol Hill, trying to rally the troops and get that one big beautiful bill passed.
Yeah, a rare trip for the president to take to Capitol Hill. He did it today. He's trying to get House GOP lawmakers on board with his one big beautiful bill. There's some contention in there, though. He's telling them not to mess with two things, basically. They're stuck on Medicaid and state and local tax deduction caps, otherwise known as SALT. And he's telling these guys, don't touch those two things. And some Republicans seem like they're not going to budge. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get them all on board with his one big beautiful bill that actually is the agenda on tax, immigration, defense, energy, and the debt limit. Of course, there's a razor-thin majority that the House has in both, that the Republicans have in both the House and the Senate. So he really does need to get almost all of the Republicans on board with this. So we'll see if his visit helps do that.
Yeah, and earlier today, Congresswoman Kat Cammack from our area here was on Fox News speaking with Harris Faulkner, and she talked a little bit about how that meeting went.
It was a great meeting. The president was in excellent spirits. He was funny. He was candid. He was raw, authentic. I mean, it was incredible. And I wish that the American people had a moment to really see him in that moment, talking really about the importance of moving this package across the finish line. You know, I couldn't help but think about, Mick Jagger and, infamously the Rolling Stones, you can't always get what you want. Everyone in that room has something that they are making a demand of, which that is part of the messy process of legislating. But at the end of the day, we have to get a package put together that was promised to the American people for the good of the country, and that is exactly what we are doing. Now, certainly there are some loose ends that have to be tied up. There are some final things that need to be negotiated. But overall, I think people are recognizing the gravity of the moment, and we're striking to meet the moment.
And so we will continue to watch that closely. Meanwhile, President Trump this afternoon also expected to make an announcement about that Golden Dome missile defense system that Fox News has been reporting on, a $25 billion initial investment. So we're watching for that as well. Story number 2, and that is out of Brevard County, where a suspect made their first appearance in court.
Yeah, very interesting twist in this. Let's take people back to where this all started. May 13th, outside of a store in Cocoa, we saw 3 people jumping out of a car, shooting at a young man, a woman, and a baby in a stroller. This man was arrested, but Esther Bauer, who's out on the scene covering this story today, says he's not one of the 3 suspects that we initially saw jumping out of that Mercedes and shooting at those people. She says this guy saw those 3 men pull out their guns and shoot, so he pulled out his own gun and allegedly fired back at them. So now we have 4 people involved in this. This was just a random guy. So police say they're still searching for the 3 suspects who actually shot that 1-year-old little girl who's still recovering tonight.
Scary situation. Scary to see that on some of those surveillance camera images that we saw. That a really scary situation in the middle of the afternoon.
Broad daylight.
Yeah.
They said 50 bullets were shot. It's really remarkable that only the baby was hit, unfortunately. But then you have this guy, allegedly, who wasn't even involved in anything, pull out his gun and start shooting. Just makes you kind of nervous. Like, how many people are out there with guns when you see this?
Well, and you talk about kind of it really seemed like a shootout, like at the OK Corral.
Absolutely.
I mean, a situation that really could have been a lot worse. And like you said, thankful it wasn't. Story number 3, and that is some new numbers from Florida Highway Patrol about immigration enforcement.
Yeah, FHP just tweeted this out. We don't have a whole bunch of information on this, but they tweeted this picture saying the Florida Highway Patrol continues to lead the illegal immigration enforcement effort. The FHP has processed nearly 1,300 illegal immigrants since March. This includes immigrants who had criminal histories that included battery and burglary. We do have a call out to FHP and trying to get more information on this because we didn't know if they actually worked with the feds to get these 1,300 people detained or if these were traffic stops where they came in contact with these people and realized that they were illegal immigrants. But 1,300 people since March is a lot of people to detain. That's just, what, 3 months or so?
Yeah, since some of these laws and agreements went into effect, they have definitely been busy. Now, this also comes on the day, this afternoon was another meeting of the State Immigration Enforcement Council, the group of law enforcement, sheriffs, police chiefs that kind of works with the State Board of Immigration Enforcement. And I want to flag one thing because we did hear from the Orange County Public Safety Director, Danny Banks, who spoke during public comment of this virtual meeting and talked about a challenge that they're seeing in Orange County when it comes specifically to the jail and the inmates and the capacity that they have as these numbers increase.
Orange County is one of the few counties that currently has an IGSA agreement with the federal government. Because of that limited number of IGSA agreements, we have experienced recently with the increase in the arrests, a fairly significant number of bookings into our jail. That's not been a problem. We're able to support that. However, we're seeing a continued increase in those bookings that are coming from arrests that are occurring in other counties other than Orange. For instance, late last week, we had approximately 40 individuals brought over from Lake County. They were arrested, I believe, by FHP, all for immigration violations, and they're coming to the Orange County Jail. Our challenge in Orange County, we're certainly capable of accepting them, but our current IGSA agreement, which we're trying to renegotiate, it does not reimburse Orange County at the rate of what our current cost, daily average cost of incarceration is.
And so they said they are hoping to kind of meet with the federal government. The St. Cloud police chief, Doug Gerke, who is also on this council, said, I don't know if we can get in a room with President Trump and the secretary, the Homeland Security secretary or what, but like these are some things that, we need ironed out as this continues to move forward.
Well, they should at least get their costs covered for what it takes to hold those people in their jails. And it sounds like people from other counties are being brought over. So, yeah, it sounds like there needs to be more done here to make sure everything's working smoothly.
Right, exactly. A lot to iron out, I think, as that you may not have necessarily realized at the beginning, but now as this implementation is taking place, as we see these numbers increasing, that's certainly something that's only going to continue to be a problem if they're saying it is already. Let's give you a live look. We're just 2 days out now from the opening of Epic Universe.
Yes, it opens on Thursday morning, 9 a.m. A lot of people looking forward to the official opening day. We, of course, are covering everything Epic Universe here at Fox 35. A bunch of reporters on it today, but yeah, a lot of people looking forward to this. It looks like they got the roller coasters going. I thought it wasn't going to be open for the 2 days before the grand opening, but it looks like they still have some people riding the rides out there. 11 rides total. It's an absolutely fabulous park. Garrett, you and I have both gone out there separately, of course. But let's talk a little bit about the rides and what was your favorite part. I loved Super Nintendo World. Mario Kart was my favorite ride. It felt like you were in the video game. What's your favorite?
Okay, so the Mario Kart was one of the ones that we did not do
because
it had been down for much of the day. For almost the entire day. And so then when it finally opened back up, it was like a 2-hour wait. And by the time it got to the end of the day, we didn't end up waiting in line and doing that. I would say for me, Stardust Racers, it was just it was pretty intense.
Big roller coaster
I liked it a lot. But one I think is kind of maybe a little underrated is the Hiccups Wing Gliders at the Isle of Berk. Another coaster, but a little more tame. My wife loved it. That was her favorite. So all the rides we did, we really enjoyed. Monsters Unchained.
Both my boys rode those two in Isle of Berk and the Monsters Unchained. They love that. I have to go more low key. I get nauseous really easily, but I did ride the Minecraft Mine
cart.
Yes.
The Donkey Kong. Yes.
I still have whiplash from that ride. I went online and everyone's talking about how herky-jerky. I'm like, okay, so it's not just me. I probably would have been better doing the Hiccups wing glider
Yeah, you would
ride.
have enjoyed the hiccups wing glider.
Yeah, I literally still have like a kink in my neck because just if you're gonna ride that ride, no, you're gonna get jerked around a little bit.
Right. I liked that one a lot. I thought it was really cool how it's like you can't really tell where you are on the tracks, and it looks like the track is ending. And I attribute the jerkiness of the ride to realism, because think if you were actually on that mine cart and what it would feel like.
Out of control. Absolutely. Right. But it was fun. Yoshi, if you have small kids, that's a great ride. Super cute park. I think people are really going to enjoy it.
I think so too. It's one of those that you're going to be able to go to, time after time and experience new things and see new details.
Yeah,
There's just a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One day is just not enough, I don't think, for that park, especially when it's at 100% capacity.
Right. But a lot of excitement for that. And like you said, we've got a lot of coverage continuing. I know Stephanie today was at the Isle of Berk and Super Nintendo World, and we'll have more from her coming up later on Fox 35 News. Well, that is today's Top 4 at 4. LuAnne, we appreciate you joining us. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist TJ Springer joins me now. And TJ, I said this earlier to Brooks this morning. I was like, there's really not a whole lot to say about this forecast that we haven't already said when it's just been so copy and paste.
It is, Garrett. Yeah, I feel like every day this week and through the weekend has been essentially the exact same. Plenty of sun, hot, humid. I know yesterday we were joking around about all of the nasty adjectives we have to use to describe the weather.
Got to keep those thesauruses handy for all those adjectives so we can keep the forecast fresh.
It's funny too. I don't know why they always begin with S. It's like steamy, sweltering, sultry. Why are they all? I don't know why S is but I feel like all of the S words.
Yeah, and including some that we aren't going to say.
Across the Sunshine State. Still a few clouds out there too. We're going to keep tabs on that sea breeze as it moves inland through the remainder of the evening. That could be enough to spark once again as temperatures start to drop. Remember how hot it is. We also have that heat upstairs in the atmosphere. If the air can't rise and we have a little lid on the atmosphere, some of those showers and thunderstorms won't be able to form. But as we cool down, that could be a possibility, a stray shower or storm like we had yesterday evening with the help of the sea breeze front. Right now, it looks a little more pleasant around the lake in Mount Dora. That's where you need to be today, around water, by the pool, the beach, at the water park, something to cool yourself down because it is still feeling downright oppressive out there when you factor in not just the heat, but the humidity as well. We have 87 in New Smyrna and Cocoa Beach, a little better with the help of the cooler water, but notice inland from Orlando to Leesburg, it is 94. We have 91, and for those of you in St. Cloud, with the dew point sitting in the 70s, which that trend will continue as we head into our day tomorrow. They'll drop a little bit, or at least attempt to, with this cold frontal passage that we're watching later in the week, but still, we're going to be in the humid category, and it's going to make it feel all the more worse out there. Heat indices, or the feels like temp, what it feels to you and I as you head outside, 100 degrees in Orlando. It feels like 102 in Bithlo, 106. Ooh, that is bad. In Titusville, 106. Think about your pets. Think about yourselves if you're getting out and about. Just drink plenty of water. Try to not overdo it outdoors, especially if you have to be outside for any sort of prolonged period here late this afternoon into the early evening. Tonight, only in the low to mid 70s, staying above normal under a partly cloudy sky. Tomorrow, same story, maybe a stray shower or storm in the heating of the day with the help of that sea breeze. But overall, we're still going to see a fair amount of sunshine. Highs ramping back up into the middle 90s. Yet again, I think we'll be a little shy of record-breaking temperatures for our Wednesday. But we'll be close, near record heat nonetheless. Tomorrow, that record was 98, set back in 1908. We're expecting 96. Then temperatures a little cooler, slightly cooler with that front on top of us Thursday. But we have a trio of 97-degree records. 2 in 1962, Thursday and Friday, then Saturday, 1956. We had a high of 97 as well. That's the last time we broke that record. It'll feel worse than that, though, tomorrow. And as we head through the remainder of the week, those feels like temps still going to be around the century mark for our hump day. So be sure to wear the light-colored clothing if you're going to be out and about later in the day. It'll at least do yourself a little favor with that, because remember, darker colors absorb the heat. It makes it feel worse to you versus having a color like white or one of the lighter colors that you could possibly wear. Now, as we head through the day, Wednesday into Thursday, this cold front is going to be on the approach, and with that, we are going to have the potential for a few showers and thunderstorms. This is Thursday morning, so coinciding with Epic Universe, this grand epic opening here in Orlando. We can see a couple of showers through the heating of the day, though, as this front continues to work southbound. We can see that potential for maybe a few more showers and thunderstorms. That's what we're going to have to watch out for as we head through the remainder of our Thursday, that potential for a few showers and thunderstorms. And it's looking like, thankfully, they're going to be isolated. It's not going to be a big deal for us here across, I would say, Central Florida. But, Garrett, I know it's definitely going to be something that we'll all have to watch out for, especially for so many people visiting the park on a Thursday. But I do think activity should be isolated, nothing widespread, at least the way things are looking right now.
That's good, because you know, I was going to say, like, what are the odds we have all these dry and hot days, and then it's like the one day that everyone really kind of wants it and needs it to be nice, and then it would rain.
Yeah, I know. I feel like so many people have planned on this, trying to get down for the opening, or at least opening weekend. And of course, it's Memorial Day weekend too, so I'm sure not just Epic, but many of the parks are going to be crowded. So hopefully Thursday, though, we can get through without a lot of rain and nothing really damping anybody's plans out there.
Yeah, because we do know a number of those rides at Epic are impacted by the weather. You know, they are outdoor rides that wouldn't be able to go on in the storms.
I've kind of wondered that too, Garrett, because I would feel like essentially maybe 2/3 of the rides are outside. So that really can make things kind of tough in a storm if all those visitors try to flock to an indoor attraction. I feel like, or to a shop or grab something to eat, but I feel like those indoor rides could have an extremely long line if a rainstorm is about to come through.
Well, let's just hope we don't have to find out. Let's just hope things stay sunny on Thursday and everything cooperates, especially for those out-of-town guests. Let's show them a little hospitality here.
I hope so too.
All right. Well, Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist TJ Springer, we appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Garrett. I appreciate it.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. President Trump just moments ago announcing the Golden Dome missile shield. It's a missile defense system that is planned for the United States, announcing a $25 billion initial investment into it. Now taking questions from reporters inside the Oval Office. So let's go ahead and listen in.
But the beauty of your vision, Mr. President, is that it's layered, it's open architecture, and it goes up into space. So this is going to be some of the new defense tech companies that are very interested in it and can bring missile defense at a cost that I don't think, you said it, Mr. President, is unimaginable in terms of how much lower the cost is. So it's all across the board in terms of companies. Senator Kramer and I just met with a bunch of them last week that are interested in this. And you said it earlier, Mr. President, our technology sector is head and shoulders above any other place in the world, and they're going to be a key part of this, and I think that's why it makes it so exciting.
Mr. President, I think one of the things that's, and you alluded to this, the new autonomous space age defense ecosystem is more about Silicon Valley than it is about big metal, right? And so what's exciting about this is it makes it available to everybody to participate, to compete. Big companies, mid-sized companies, small companies, but General Gutlein is the perfect person again to sort all that out because he understands how it has to work together ultimately.
And Pete, maybe we'll close with you. We have been discussing this for a long time. Peter and I used to discuss it when I was going to go on a show that he did very well and had tremendous ratings, but all he wanted to talk about was the military. He didn't want to talk about anything else. We used to talk about this. How about you closing it out?
Yes, sir. I mean, like I said, without your vision, willing to say and do things when other people wanted to look away and pretend like the threat didn't exist, or be focused on foreign adventurism, some other threat that we've been told is affecting us. When you looked at the data, sir, from Russia to the Communist Chinese and their capabilities, what they're trying to do to supersede us and threaten us, how do we find the best innovators, the best military leaders, the best companies, tech companies? You mentioned open architecture, that's exactly right. So multiple companies can pour into this, sir. It's a layered defense, so if you miss at one, you catch at the next. And it integrates existing technologies that can speak to each other, so it moves quickly while also investing in further ranging space-based interceptors. So our enemies, our adversaries are going to pay a lot of attention to this, just like they have to President Trump from day one. Sir, you're defending the homeland, defending the American people. It's going to benefit my kids, grandkids, all of ours in this room. So thank you for your leadership. We're going to charge ahead as fast as we can.
Very good. Great job, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Will Elon Musk and Starlink be involved in this? Will Elon Musk be a part of this, Mr. President? Thank you, press.
No cuts. No cuts to medical.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys.
No cuts to medical.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, press.
Thank you very much.
President Trump wrapping up the news conference there inside the Oval Office. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and get you back inside this hearing on Capitol Hill that we listened to earlier this afternoon on Florida Live. This is a hearing of the House Oversight Committee Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets. It is chaired by Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna of Florida's 13th District. And today they're talking about the JFK files and the lack of transparency about the release of classified information, and also hearing some new details from witnesses about the assassination. The man testifying right now is Douglas Horn. He was a former staff member for the Assassination Records Review Board. I believe he was being asked a question and speaking now. Let's go ahead and listen into this for a few minutes.
Numerous probes in the president's body. And of course, probes are important because they determine bullet tracks. Where do bullets go in? Where do they come out? If they come out. And he remembered developing them and holding them up to the light in the darkroom after they were developed. And he remembered seeing probes in the body in this black and white film pack. And in the official autopsy collection, there was no black and white film pack used in photographs of the body. They're 4x5-inch duplex film. They're not black and white film packs. And there are no photographs of probes in the body in the official collection. And one of the people we interviewed was Dr. Carney, who was a resident at Bethesda. And when we told him, Jeremy Gunn and I, when we told him that there were no photographs of probes in the body in the official autopsy photo collection, he became visibly agitated, and his face turned bright pink. And he said, I came in and out of the morgue many times as the resident on duty that night, but I saw flashbulbs going off when there were probes in the body. And you're telling me there's no photos in the collection? We said, that's right. So 2 more that are missing, and that concludes my answer. Black and white prints were seen by numerous people showing a large exit defect in the rear of JFK's head. So Mr. Knudsen, the White House photographer, Navy Chief Knudsen, showed such photos to another White House photographer, Joe O'Donnell, the week after the president died. Black and white prints showing a big exit wound in the back of the head. There are no such photos in the collection, but Joe O'Donnell said there were, and another witness that saw those photos was Navy Corpsman Dennis David. And he was shown those photographs by the Bethesda Naval Hospital audiovisual department head, Lieutenant Commander Pitzer. The last type of photo that's missing, black and white prints of an entry wound high in the forehead, up here. Not in the temple, but high in the forehead, above the right eye. Black and white prints showing that were shown by Mr. Knudsen, by Chief Knudsen, to Mr. O'Donnell. They were also seen by Dennis David when Lieutenant Commander Pitzer showed him autopsy photographs. And a third witness surfaced in the year 2010, Quentin Schwen, who lives in Cleveland, and he, during a federal job interview, believe it or not, during a federal job interview with an intelligence agency, when he was at the Rochester Institute of Technology, majoring in photography, he was shown a color-positive transparency showing an entry wound high in the forehead of JFK. So that's my kind of lengthy answer.
The staff member, their former staff member, when it comes to assassination records, talking about some missing files, it seems, that may not have been included in a batch of release. There's Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, who is the chair of this task force, continuing her questioning. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, and we'll be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. New documents detailing the investigation into a Brevard County teacher whose contract is not being renewed after calling a student by their preferred nickname instead of their legal name. Fox 35's Esther Bauer has been following up on this story and joins us live now via Zoom. And Esther, what have you been able to learn about this investigation through these documents?
Garrett, so we learned that first a school board member was contacted back in March. That school board member then immediately called the principal over at the Satellite High School and brought some parental concerns to the principal member's ears. Ultimately, this parent said that they believe that teachers at Satellite High School and Laura Middle School in Satellite Beach were grooming their child and ultimately helping them transition to be gay. This parent has a daughter who has expressed to them that they would like to transition, and this is not something that parent has wanted. And she was blaming the teachers at the school for grooming this behavior by calling her daughter by a preferred male nickname. So what we found out, it was 128 pages the school district published in this report. They had been investigating back since March. That's when this all started. Ultimately, they immediately started contacting all of the teachers at Satellite High. And Melissa Calhoun did say, I was calling this child by their preferred nickname, but she was quoted saying she had no clue that this was a problem within the district. And she also said she wasn't doing it with any political or malicious goals. She just was trying to call the student the name that they had been called throughout all the time that they had been at Satellite High. It's important to note the new law that went into effect was passed in 2023. And so this came online in this school year. This is the first case where we are seeing a parent raise concerns and then a teacher being found in violation of the new state policy. This teacher said, I didn't even know where in the school online portal to find the permission slips where parents can say, yes, I give you written consent to call my child by a different name. So she felt like she just wasn't aware of where to look and how to move forward. Also important to note, during this week-long investigation, the teacher did take this child aside and said, I can no longer call you by this name. I'm going to have to call you by the name that your parents have given you at birth. So she did have that conversation and she told the district, I will move forward with protocol after learning that I was breaking the law and doing so for some time. She also told people that were investigating, I can't believe this is what I am going down for. And so that's what ultimately happened. It's important to note as well that the superintendent was told to give a letter of reprimand, which is what he did. But in addition to the letter of reprimand, the superintendent made the decision to also terminate the teacher's contract.
Now, what is this? So we know, as you said, her contract has been terminated. I believe we've also reported that the her certification would be kind of looked at. Do we know what the status is of that, or where things go from here when it comes to her statewide certification?
So we know the state board is still looking into that, and it's important to know we did get some new details from BPS where they were ultimately saying we made the decision to terminate this teacher's contract because the state is looking at if she will maintain certification. But based on what the state finds, if they allow this teacher to keep their certification, BPS said Ms. Calhoun is welcome to apply for future positions with BPS after the state wraps their investigation. But they ultimately said, we don't want to lose a teacher mid-school year if the state says she can't teach and we've allowed her to stay on.
All right, Fox 35's Esther Bauer, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon here on Fox 35 News Plus.
Absolutely.
We also have another education-related story we want to get to, and that is out of Orange County, where there was a school board meeting earlier today, and some news out of that when it came to discussions over budgets and plans for new schools. And joining us live now is Fox 35's Caroline Coles. And Caroline, we know Orange County had some plans for new schools, but it sounds like those are being paused.
Yes. Orange County, believe it or not, right now, Garrett, is projecting a loss of more than 3,000 students for the upcoming school year. Obviously, that's a significant shift, for one of Florida's largest school districts. And because of that, the district is, yes, reevaluating its construction plans. Some of the original expansion projects were aimed at increasing school capacity, particularly in high growth areas like Horizon West and Lake Nona. But because of the low enrollment, the school district is now putting those expansion plans on pause.
Now, we also heard discussion during this meeting about a lot of questions when it comes to budget-related matters because of the state not having passed a budget. And so I would imagine that it also kind of fuels some uncertainty for the Orange County School District.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the loss of 3,000 students could mean nearly $27 million less in state funding for Orange County Public Schools. So, a lot of the school board leaders, they're concerned about this. But the real concern isn't just, the enrollment drop. It's about, like you mentioned, the funding impact of taxpayer funded voucher programs. A lot of school leaders saying that the district is now seeing a diversion of nearly 10 times that amount in funding, all because of students enrolling in private or charter schools with voucher support. So staff cuts could be coming because of this, because with fewer students and less funding, staffing definitely is going to be directly impacted. School officials today stated that the number of teachers the district can employ is directly tied to enrollment and funding level. So the district is closely monitoring this. This is a concern for them. But they were just like, this could really impact how many teachers we're able to hire.
A lot of uncertainties and questions moving forward. Fox 35's Caroline Coles, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon here on Fox 35 News Plus.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. A lot going on. Well, I mean, to be frank, actually not a lot going on in Tallahassee, but still a lot of questions about what is going to happen with this extended legislative session and questions over the budget. We talked about some of the impact of it just a minute ago with Caroline, because we know that local school districts have questions about funding because of some, not just the losing students, but also from not having those hard and fast numbers from the state budget, because no budget for this upcoming fiscal year has been passed. Talked about that this afternoon with Gary Fineout, a reporter from Politico, and we also talked about a political shift in South Florida that reached a milestone.
Well, thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's about to be summertime in the state capitol, and we still don't have a budget.
Yeah, and there is no doubt about that. We will get into that in just a minute, but I want to start here by talking about a political shift in South Florida that has hit a pretty major milestone.
Basically, there were some new numbers that were posted yesterday that show that Republicans are now the #1 party by voter registration among active voters in Miami-Dade County. And essentially, that's a big moment for the Republicans because, of course, Republicans have been dominating in Florida the last several election cycles and have pretty much turned the state from purple to red. But Miami-Dade kind of represented one of the last bastions of Democrats. It's obviously it's a large area. It's a very highly diverse area. And, Democrats had always counted on doing well in Miami-Dade as part of their pathway back to relevancy. But now what you have is that the latest numbers show that Republicans have overtaken Democrats in the amount of active voters. And there's a nuance about the wording there, active versus inactive. If you put active and inactive voters together, Democrats still have an edge. But it's a major sort of psychological moment for Democrats in South Florida.
Yeah, and we know obviously this is something that has been kind of trending that direction, so certainly no surprise. But what is there an impact or fallout from this now that that this catch up kind of has happened?
Well, I mean, it points to the problems that continue for Democrats. If they want to be relevant in 26, if they want to be relevant in 28, or are we in a situation where this state has gone red, ruby red, and is going to be that way for the foreseeable future? And we need to put this into context that for people who may not realize this, 2016, which wasn't that long ago, right? It wasn't that long ago. Hillary Clinton took Miami-Dade County by 30 points over Donald Trump in that county. Obviously, Trump won the state overall, but she just trounced him in that county. So now we flip it, and Trump won the county in 24, DeSantis won the county in 22, and now you see this shift where now Republicans outnumber Democrats. And not only do they now outnumber Democrats and active voters, they're actually third. People who have no party affiliation, independents, are actually second in the county. So it just spells to the long pathway that Democrats have in this state if they want to get back to a point where they're going to be competitive in statewide elections like governor next year. I mean, obviously, we saw one potential candidate for governor, Jason Pizzo, left the party and is now planning to run as an independent. Governor DeSantis today made some comments where he basically, again, just repeated his assertions that the Democratic Party is dead and that he doesn't think anyone with a D next to their name can get elected.
And certainly something that's going to be interesting to watch as as a new political season kind of ramps up for those in those campaigns. Now let's talk state budget, because obviously still at a stalemate. Still, what's going on, Gary?
Well, I mean, they're in a part of the process that's kind of behind closed doors, and they trade offers back and forth between each other. Offers of what I would call top line spending levels, and that includes how much money you're going to set aside for tax cuts, how much money you're going to spend overall, and they can't reach an agreement. And they've been going back and forth now. Last week they announced, okay, we're not going to be meeting before Memorial Day. We're waiting to see anything this week as to whether or not they're going to be meeting next week. And, we just inch closer and closer to the drop dead date, which is July 1st. There could be a partial shutdown of state government unless a new budget is passed. I mean, we really haven't flirted with this in a long, long time. I mean, there have been a couple of moments where it's been dicey a couple times in Florida's history, but that's over like 20, 30 years. I mean, this is very unusual. And it's just a matter of who's going to, sort of blink in terms of where this all goes. I mean, I talked to the House budget chief yesterday, and he basically was like, look, we don't think the Senate is all that serious about bringing down the amount of money they want to spend. And so here we are.
At what point does this get concerning?
Well, well, I mean, I would obviously say July 1st, the day the new budget's supposed to be, but would be very concerning. But I mean, a couple things to look for. Right now, it's kind of a procedural thing, but the House has voted to extend session till June 30th to give them all the way through the month of June. The Senate, however, has not concurred in that decision. And right now, because the two of them haven't decided, the session will end on June 6th. So if we come to June 6th and there's been no progress, then yeah, there'd be a lot of questions as to what's next. I mean, the governor could call them back into special session if need be. But yeah, that's sort of the thing that I'm really looking forward is there going to be anything happening between now and June 6th?
Well, it's also interesting. I was listening in on the school board meeting in Orange County today, where they were having a work session about their budget and continually talking about we don't know how much money we're getting from the state. We still have so many questions. So now you're starting to see the fallout continue at the local level from no decision being made in Tallahassee.
Well, yeah, without a doubt. And again, people maybe not know all the ins and outs, but basically the state of Florida does billions in matching money to local school districts. They get state dollars that are matched with local property taxes and other sources, and that's what these school districts use to budget for the next school year. And yeah, if you don't know what your how much money you're going to get from the state, it's kind of hard to start your own process. So I mean, and you know, and there's all sorts of ways that this will ripple out. Everything from, you know, how many people are able to work for the state? Would the state have to shut things down? To the stuff like, you know, everything from, I don't know, road projects. And I mean, there's a lot of ways that they can kind of keep some things going. But the point is, we've not had that conversation yet. Like, what happens if? And I would think that at some point in the next few weeks, if they don't reach a deal, they will have to have that conversation about what's going to happen, who's going to do what. I think apparently in the early 90s, one of the things they had to go back and forth is like, who's an essential employee, who's a non-essential employee, and things of that nature.
Well, let's hope things don't get to that point. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. In case you missed it, last night, President Donald Trump awarded the first ever Presidential Medal of Sacrifice, and he did it in honor of 3 fallen Palm Beach County deputies. Deputy Butch Waller, Corporal Luis Paez, and Deputy Dan Diaz. They were all killed in a crash that happened back in November. I want to play for you as President Trump honored them with those medals. Family members of theirs inside the Oval Office accepting those medals, and some of them even speaking.
So can we ask the families to step forward, please? Sheriff, would you like to help us with that? Please. Thank you very much. Why don't you grab that? Thank you, sir. First families. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You take care of yourself, okay? Thank you very much. Sheriff, thank you. You'll help us. Okay, I'm going to stand right over here. Okay. Now I gotta get me. Oh, thank you. That's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Would you like to say anything?
I would like to thank you very much for honoring my husband and his brothers, and for what you do for the country, and making this so very special for them and for all the people to come. It's a club you never want to be in,
No.
but you've honored them, and it just means the world. Thank you. Thank you for
That's
everything.
great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very much. Would you like to say something about your father? You want me to go over there?
Come on over here.
Come on over here. To the mic. Right here.
I viewed my dad as Superman, someone my whole life you look up to. He's an amazing guy, and it's horrible that this happened to all 3 families. But I'm glad that something was done about it, and we got represented, and everyone in the future will be. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We'd be very proud of you. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mother would be proud of you. Would you like to say anything, fellas, on behalf of the force? Would you like to say something? It's a very tough thing to do. I know. Would you like to say something, please?
Mr. President, on behalf of Sheriff Rick Bradshaw and every member of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, we can't thank you enough for taking the lead on this and recognizing the extreme sacrifice of our 3 brothers. Words really can't express how thankful we are.
Thank you very much. And we have a 4th, and we're going to give this to you. Hopefully it's maybe never going to be given out, so we'll give it to Sheriff Bradshaw, who's an incredible sheriff. And you've done an amazing job, and we'll have it should something happen. And that's right here, okay? So
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I hope it never has to be given out, frankly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you. Do you have any questions for what you just saw? That's so important. I mean, people have talked about it for years. I want to thank Brian Mast for what he's done, Congressman. He's been unbelievable. He's a great representative. And he worked hard. He wanted to do it right, and we wanted to go somehow. We could get him done pretty easily in one way, but we wouldn't get him done by Tiffany. And the fact that the Arnault family stepped up was absolutely incredible. It means more when you get a name like that. I think it means something extra. But these were incredible people, and they're looking down on you right now, and they're very, very proud, very, very proud of all of you. And it's too bad we had to be doing this, but I was there with you that day. That was a rough day. Thank you very much. Would you have any questions? Yeah.
Do you have plans to give this award to any other families posthumously find themselves in the same position as having made this sacrifice? And then after the test, one question about your response to that.
Having to do from a previous? Yeah. We're looking at the possibility of that, yeah. You had a lot of people die in the line of duty when you think of it. And we figured it was time to start. We haven't had the situation arise. This was a terrible situation. We haven't had it arise yet, but we're looking at going back a little bit and see what we can do about that.
The president in that somber ceremony inside the White House last night, and talking about the Presidential Medal of Sacrifice at the end, or a question asked about who else that may be given to. So something we will continue to see. But the first ever Presidential Medals of Sacrifice given in honor of 3 fallen Palm Beach County deputies who died in the line of duty last fall. Well, that is going to do it for us here on Fox 35 News Plus. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon. We're here weekdays 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. with Fox 35 News Plus and Florida Live, and also other times in that time period as well as needed. We do have a full day planned on Thursday for our Epic Universe coverage in between our regular newscasts. Here's another live look at the Stardust Racers, and so you can see some of the other rides as well. And there's the Stardust Racers going off right now. Fox 35 Stephanie Buffamonte is inside Epic Universe. She'll have updates from Isle of Berk and Super Nintendo World coming up in just a little bit on Fox 35 News. That's going to do it for us here. I will go ahead and send things out to Studio B for the start of Fox 35 News at 5. We see John and LuAnne getting ready for that newscast, which begins in just seconds right here on Fox Local. Have a great evening. We'll see you soon.